How's everyone doing? I hope you're doing well. I've been traveling for work. I finally got to the last place I need to be, in spite of Microsoft and CloudStrike. Holy crap. I don't understand why we're not immediately having like congressional investigations into CloudStrike and what the holy heck that company was doing a security update on a Friday morning. You never ever do updates like this on a Friday. You just don't. So I got stuck in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is my least favorite airport in the world before this all happened. And that was like the ninth circle of hell. I've never seen anything like it before, where we were packed like sardines in there. People showed a lot of patience. I'll say that. And it's really unnerving when you're standing there and like the TV sets that are supposed to show what gate is what, it's just constantly crashing. I still think there's major disruptions going on. My American Airlines keeps notifying me every hour on the hour that they still can't find the baggage, my bag that I do have. I already have it, and I keep trying because I don't want to block American Airlines from my email or from my phone because I still have to. I don't. Depending on where I'm going, I don't have as many options as people think I would when it comes to airlines, and I don't know who the fuck to get a hold of to just say, hey, I got my damn bag. Stop telling me you can't find my bag. Please stop spamming me. Oh, it was awful. I've never seen it where you're just standing in an airport and all the TVs are crashing, with the screens where it's supposed to tell you the gates and stuff and so on. And then even now where I'm at in Indiana, I stopped to get lunch because I had a couple hours drive to get to where I needed to be from Indianapolis Airport. And places stopped at, I always have to get I gotta get a itemized receipt. And the waitress is like, I'm really sorry, I can only print. She's like, thankfully our credit cards, we started being able to take credit cards this morning, but she's like, I can't get this dang thing to print out anything but like a baseline. And I'm like, that's fine, it ain't your fault. So, been pretty stressful. Flying in U.S., the only place that I hate flying more is Canada when it comes to like a first world country. But I'll be real with you. What I dealt with in Charlotte, I've seen it when I'm doing a job in like say the Caribbean and there's a major hurricane hitting, and I got a weird life and a weird job. I've had it before where like I'm in an African nation where the local rebel group just fired off a mortar that came too close to the runway. So now everything's shut down, kind of thing. And that was right up there with something like that. And it was all because of a company based out of Texas did an update. And just wild. Just absolutely wild. I don't know why everybody's about doing everything on the clouds and stuff, not controlling their own databases and all. And it's really wild too if you look into like what actually happened was they effectively uploaded a blank driver. So every time you'd restart a machine, it would look to see what driver to run, and there's no driver to run, so then it would just crash and crash and crash because it's trying to run something and there ain't no program to run, basically. This is like first year programming you learn. So, real mess. But I finally got to my hotel around noon. Talked to my wife and my son for about 2 hours. Just, check in on them, see how they're doing. And just trying to relax, trying to unwind. And I figured I'd check out, the old internet, see what's going on. And I did see that Biden has stepped it down. Or, I'm sorry, he has to step down, but he pulled his name out for re-election, which It's basically something that everybody with a pulse thought would have been a good idea. All of this could have been prevented if we just had a fucking primary, which we weren't allowed to have. It's the same shit that happened in 2016 with Hillary Clinton, where for some fucking reason the DNC is like, yeah, we know who we're going to run, no matter what. And of course it keeps blowing up in their fucking faces every fucking time they do this shit. So I figured I'd check in with my most favorite political hot taker, being Patrick, and he's got some hot sauce here going. Fuck it, steal their law and order mantra. It takes a cop to beat a criminal. Harris, 2024. Again, Pat, nobody cares. Nobody really cares. Nothing sticks to Trump. He's an oily, slimy bastard. He's been that his entire fucking life. Like, this latest round of conviction, which my understanding was basically everything's been dropped or whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. It really doesn't matter. None of it matters because it's presidential politics. We hit the shitter long ass time ago. Like, long ass time ago. It's the whole reason why I don't bother with this crap, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. When we decided to invade Iraq because of Afghanistan, while we were invading Afghanistan, that's when I realized it doesn't matter. None of this fucking matters. We're dumb. We deserve everything. People that get passionate about this on either side, I don't understand you. I think you're morons. It's like getting upset about who wins WrestleMania or some shit. Oops, didn't mean to jump that far. This is our only chance of survival as a country, maybe as a species. The GOP has already said they'll challenge Harris's ballot access in all 50 states, and they will win that challenge in many, but anyone else will shatter the Dem coalition. This is for all the marbles. Pat, it doesn't matter who's president. People seem to think that the president is way more powerful than they actually fucking are. They really aren't. I mean, you can make the argument they can really affect the Supreme Court, but even then, Congress is far more important. And Patrick probably doesn't even bother with the elections unless it's a presidential election. I cannot fucking believe they pulled this shit again for a DNC in Chicago. I'm assuming that Patrick is trying to make a reference to the 1968 convention in Chicago, and this is kind of showing how stupid Patrick is, because I should say, well, I know he's stupid, but maybe he knows more about the 68 convention than he's letting on. The 68 convention was a shit show because of the Vietnam War. And there were a lot of left-wing protesters outside. They were barred from entry. And they were protesting peacefully, and then Mayor Daley, the Democrat, sent out, like, not just the cops, but also sent out the National Guard to just crack skulls. Just beat the shit out of teenagers and shit. And people got hurt and killed. It's nothing close to this. It's literally nothing close to this. And all of this could have been prevented, again, if we just had a fucking primary. I don't know about your neck of the woods. My neck of the woods, we didn't have a primary. We were basically told there is one person on the ballot, that's who you're going to fucking vote for if you're going to participate in the primary. We didn't even have our usual joke people. Like, in my neck of the woods, we always have this one guy who's been doing this for, like, fucking 40 years. He's this crazy Quaker. And for the first time ever, he was barred off of the fucking ballot. They changed the rules to make it impossible for him to get off on the ballot, simply because they recognized how weak of a candidate Biden was at that point. So it's like, come on. Now watch the progressive Genocide Joe crew transition seamlessly to Kamala's a cop. Well, she was a prosecutor in Southern California. She sent a lot of people away for long periods of time for nonviolent drug offenses. Are we not allowed to bring that up? Are we not allowed to bring up her record? Because you don't want her record brought up in this tweet from an hour ago, but then this tweet from an hour ago, you want her record being come up that, you know, like, what is it? Pick a lane. When the history of this day is remembered, if indeed anyone remains study it, people will look back in incredulous horror as the Democrats decided in the last minute of a marathon, where are your commas? Their only path forward, froward, was to take a careful aim with a shotgun and blow off their own foot. Dude, you really just buckle down and just buy another blue check mark so you can edit this shit. Froward? Where's... Oh, God. Published author, my friends. If you're part of a marginalized community and have the means, it's time to work up an escape plan. I will stand up and fight with you to the end, but the path ahead has become just so narrow, and the fall so much more steep. This motherfucker is acting like he's a goddamn freedom fighter by tweeting and shit. I did see this tweet from Michael Battleborn quote tweeted this, and I gave him a reply basically saying, like, this asshole's LARPing that he's Harriet Tubman, which I highly recommend. If you want to really read about an amazing American hero, read up on Harriet Tubman. Like, really read up on what she did as a woman during the Civil War, before the Civil War, and then even after the Civil War. Like, for example, she ended up in a retirement home that she established. And it wasn't until, like, she was nearly dead that researchers figured out who she was. Like, this is a woman that never tried to get accolades or anything for what she did with establishing the Underground Railroad. This is a woman that faced death so many times. She was the first woman ever to lead a military operation by the U.S. government. Like, it blows my mind that they have never actually made a historically accurate movie about her life. And I think the reason that they don't is because if it came out, people wouldn't believe it was real. And this is a woman that never made any money off of her name and her legacy. Like, she was basically in a retirement home when they figured out who she was. The researchers did. And there was a biography made about her, but basically somebody else had to write it because she couldn't read or write. But this was an amazing woman. If you ever get a chance to read up on her, I highly recommend. And this jackass is acting like, yeah, I'm going to help you get into Canada, you weirdo furries on Twitter or some shit, that you somehow think that you're so important that whoever is the figurehead of the executive branch, that's going to directly affect your life. Like, come on. Come the frick on. Like, Patrick, it doesn't matter who's the president. It doesn't matter for you who the president is. It just doesn't. You're not that important. If anything, you're probably better off with the Republicans in charge. Just in terms of taxes and stuff. Like, Pat is one of those guys that just naturally assumes that he's a good person just because he votes Democrat. And it's like, Pat, I've seen your tweets. You got a real problem with women. You got a real problem with minorities that don't agree with you. You got a real problem with anybody that doesn't suck you off. Excuse my language, but that's how I view it. Democrats have never won after a contested convention. Everyone who pushed this did so to help Trump and end American democracy. Hope for survival of humanity now hangs in the threat. First of all, dumbass, this does not make for a contested. This doesn't make for a contested convention. It doesn't. It's literally going to be no different than what just happened at the RNC. It really doesn't. Kamala's going to accept the nomination. There's not going to be a fucking controversy at all. Then she's going to announce who her running mate is. And chances are they're going to win because now Trump, who is a homicidal, genocidal, out of touch, brain-wormed, mush-mouth boomer, he can't go and point over across and go, well, at least I'm not as fucked up as this guy. Because whoever it is, it could be a bucket of chicken, a bucket of fried chicken. Either party, if they nominated a bucket of fried chicken, would win this presidential election by 60 fucking points. Because this is what both sides don't seem to realize this. Neither candidate is liked by the general populace. And what I'm talking about are the people that don't give a shit about pro wrestling, the people that have jobs, and so on. They're just like, oh God, this election hasn't happened yet? Like, can we please just dial back the commercials and shit? I don't care. I don't care. Like the normal people that don't live on fucking Twitter and social media. Everybody's burned out by this already. So you just get anyone remotely normal, anyone, somebody that can form a sentence, they're going to win. They're going to win. It's like the people that are like, oh, this is Trump's bull moose speech moment getting shot at. Roosevelt lost that election. Like, read your history. He lost the election. The Bull Moose Party collapsed immediately after the election. That's why we don't have 3 parties. We have 2. It's like, God. I want to see what his replies are, because they're probably even more unhinged. Nope. They aren't. Okay. Oh, God. They aren't trolls. You're clearly upset as criminals. This is why you're over. I don't know why I did this. Join for stalker prison. Please, Trump judges follow law or president. Fuck it. Okay. I don't even know why I did this. This is all depressing. I'd say it's depressing because I don't. Okay. This is why your life's already over. Who is he? Oh boy. Of course, his high school transcripts come out. Oh my lord. Pat, really, there's nothing better for you to be doing right now other than telling people they're going to prison. Stealthy chairs, that's pretty funny. He's so easy to trigger. It's like, dude, this is Twitter. It doesn't matter. None of this fucking matters. You should be focusing on other stuff. Like me, I'm focusing to get... Once I've done this, I'm going to be going through all my drawings and my software, making sure I'm ready to start up this finishing mill in the morning. Because I have to have a job, you know? Like, I can't spend all day on Twitter and social media just raging at random strangers who are very clearly just trying to fuck with you. Like, I don't understand why he bothers commenting to this person. Just block them and move on. Misconstrued. Mark Ellis says they'll lose if they try. Again, Pat, like, who cares? It really doesn't matter who's president. It's the same billionaires that are in charge of everything anyway. So it's just anyone that thinks that their life is directly affected about who is president, I'm sorry, you're not that important. You and I are not that important. We don't matter. We've never fucking mattered. This is just bread and circus. This is just bread and circus to distract the masses, kind of thing. You shouldn't care. You shouldn't care. The only thing you should give a shit about is your local elections. That's most important because that affects your life the most and you have the biggest influence on it. And that's what people vote in the least. Then the next comes state elections. Again, doesn't affect you as much, but it still affects you pretty fucking good. Then federal elections like Congress. The very least is whoever is the fucking figurehead of the executive branch. It doesn't matter. Whether it's a Republican or a Democrat, how much turnover do you think fucking exists? And it's the same assholes that get access. It's the same assholes that they get to decide things. These private interests. It's not you or I. It's just not. It's fucking not. So, like, acting like your point matters and raging about on Twitter,
is fucking stupid. Either way, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, liberal or conservative, extremist or normie, it doesn't fucking matter because you don't fucking matter. Once you accept that, everything just becomes easier to deal with. But that's my perspective. And the worst comes to worst, I can always emigrate. Because I actually have degrees and experience and stuff that's marketable to other countries. Whereas your average shithead that's flipping out on Twitter, what the fuck are you going to do? Canada is closed to Americans. I'll let you know that right now. Unless you have a specific job skill and set and experience, Canada is closed to your dumbass. Same with Mexico, same with Europe, same with everywhere. Maybe you can go to China being a white monkey, but even then, that's kind of closed off because U.S. and China aren't trading nearly as much as they used to. But anywho, I'm done rambling and ranting. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all taking care of each other. You all stay safe. Ciao.